The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the Dork Side of the Ring. I am your happy host, Radicalized Rob Francois. Joining me is my co-host, the real talent of Get My Go. You have a PS5 now? I didn't even fucking know that. How did I not know that?
I only like to take 4 selfies with it a day because I own a PlayStation 5. Yes, that's right. My name is you own a PlayStation 5 now. How the fuck did I not know that? Well, one of the things we should start off with, if you can understand my Scottish accent, is that first of all, the audio on my side, this will not be the regular audio. It's a very warm day here. I've had to leave a window open. I've had to record in a different room. I've been drinking. So it's not always going to be this A quality audio. On the other hand, the other thing I've got to say is show is not being done without irony. We know that it's called Dork Side of the Ring, but we have no misconceptions that we're a couple of fucking nerds ourselves. I'm currently wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. Okay? I'll probably watch some type of superhero shit before somebody comes over to the house. So this is not a they suck, we're cool. This is a we suck, but they suck more show.
Yeah, speaking of suck, I'm wearing a cock shirt, so you can only see the C. But that's
A cuck?
Cock. I like cock.
Oh, there you go. Also, I've got to say that it's also what we agreed to do was a schedule when it fits show. So it may not be a weekly show. It's not going to be a daily show. It's going to be whenever my schedule's free and Rob isn't at a capital invasion.
Yeah, we agreed when we started this that we're so fucking lazy that we probably won't do it every week. But I have so many other projects going on because I'm such a wanted commodity. I have my own 75 podcast. I'm doing podcasts for HMG. I do a bowling fucking show. I mean, you know how much effort and preparation goes into doing a fucking bowling show? I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's very labor intensive.
Well, let's start off on a more of a serious note. Why the discussion of this show happened, or should I say the creation? That's gone to my head already. Those entire 3 sips of Guinness. There was a bit of a fallout / commotion, shall we say? Do you want to address it?
I haven't addressed it publicly, so what better place than right now? Thanks for bringing that shit up. So, so I had posted on the brand Facebook page, which is full of marks itself, and I was kind of hypercritical of CM Punk and his return and how the fans reacted to him. God, I look really fucking fat since I shaved. Look at this goddamn neck, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking turkey giblets. Do you have turkeys over there, by the way?
No, but we do have treadmills.
Fair enough. So, somebody got a little bit butthurt in the comments. The first comment that I received was from a mutual friend of ours. I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name is Mike Durband, host of the Mike Durband Show.
I know that guy.
Yeah. And he said, I had called the fans a little bit. I called CM Punk strange. And Mikey put in the comments something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm too lazy to look it up. Coming from fuck. You know what? I might as well look it up now because I'm just gonna butcher it. So, hold on. Yeah, you can tell I'm really prepared for the show. Where the fuck is my phone? Did you take my phone?
Officer, a black man took my phone.
That would never happen. Come on, dude. You're not woke anymore. Let's see. Screenshots. I'm not going to edit any of this out, by the way. Let's see. Oh, I got a nice Benoit picture right there. Remember him?
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, awesome guy. Should be in the Hall of Fame.
Father of the Year.
Let's see. He's a much better father than I am. Let's. You notice I get funnier whenever you're around because I'm not funny at all, but you just bring out the worst in me.
Yeah. Nothing funnier than this so far.
No, this is riveting fucking entertainment. I have so many screenshots. It is ridiculous. 3 days ago. That would probably help. Durban wrote, and I quote, "Where the fuck? Hold on, I suck." Nope, that's not. There we go. Got it. Durban wrote, quote, "He's a weird guy." From a guy who stood outside a woman's window and ... How many dots were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 8 dots after it. Now, if anybody doesn't know that, you obviously don't listen to any of my shows. I was arrested like 15 years ago for something. I mean, I wasn't standing outside a woman's window per se. I was in my own house. You can draw your conclusions from there. Mike's supposed to be my friend. I don't know why he would say something like that, even if it was a joke. It's not funny. I mean, we've addressed it 75 times with the whole dolphin flogging thing. It seems to me that he was a little upset that maybe I was picking on his man crush, CM Punk. But I asked him to delete the comment. He said didn't answer my messages at all. Eventually got back to me because he's so busy, and said, maybe you should just delete your post. Kind of a dick move. I said, why would I delete the post, dude? Like, what you said was a little bit off color. Just delete the comment. Don't be a dick about it. And he never did. I asked him why he wrote what he wrote, and he still hasn't answered my messages. He hasn't answered my messages at all in the last 5 days or so. I'm just saying, and I said to you last night, if he was just kidding, all he had to do was say, dude, lighten up. It's just a fucking joke. But instead he didn't. He didn't even answer why he put it up there. So yeah, I'm a little bit upset with Mike Durban. I thought we were friends. But it is what it is. Yeah,
well, I mean, like I've no like hate with Durban. I was making sexist comments to him just a few hours ago about the NWA, but I will admit that's kind of a strange reply from him just for making fun of a fucking wrestler. But that's the whole point of this episode is that what Jesus Christ. CM Punk has done, which we should. I've heard that the CM stands for Crying Mark.
I thought it was Cock Muncher.
Oh yeah. It's he has brought out the worst in wrestling marks that I've ever seen. I mean, and I know this might sound dramatic, like the guy crying in the audience. At his AEW Rampage debut, that's the worst I've ever seen from a wrestling fan. To cry at wrestling is unacceptable. I'll be honest. When I heard that the Macho Man died, that really upset me because I'd heard that. Because he was a childhood hero, and then you hear that he died from like a heart attack, and it's like, oh God, the people I love, these kids are getting old and they're passing away. That upset me, but I didn't cry over it. But for a grown man to cry over fucking CM Punk, I just thought that's the low point. Like this is it, and the way the fans are. Even there's another guy on the brand, I don't know his fucking name, who's been arguing with me and arguing with everyone who makes fun of Punk, and he's going, bro, he's the best. He's changing the game. It's like, but he's not. Because here's I'll be totally honest with you as well. We're recording this on Saturday, the 20th of August. The first time I heard CM Punk's promo was yesterday when I was editing clips for Keeping It 100, and they used that in the intro of the show. All I seen from Punk's return was literally his entrance, and I thought, that's pretty impressive. The crowd went mental. He looked good. He looked like he'd gotten in shape. I thought, wow, but I didn't care enough to watch the promo. Then I heard the promo and I thought, this is awful. He was just the whole, I was terribly used. They made me feel sick. It's not good, but I am back. It's like, but why are you back? You're back because you tried to go into MMA. You were literally the worst ever. You tried to go into writing comics Marvel fired him because he wrote a Guardians of the Galaxy spin-off. It was meant to be terrible, so he got fired from that. He tried to do TV presenting. I don't know much about that, really. I've never seen anything. Then he tried acting, and he just did shitty low-budget horrors. So he came crawling back to wrestling, and his dumb fans have not caught on, and they all think, oh, it's because he cares so much. It's because he cares. It's like, no, it's because he got offered a shitload of money that he wasn't going to get anywhere else. If fucking, I love doing what I'm doing right now, but if my shitty old job says this, we're going to pay you 15 times what you're earning to come back, I'd be like, right, back to the garage I go.
Yeah, that's right. And, he said, for 7 years, I heard you. For 7 years, you chanted my name. Okay, well, if you heard us, asshole, then why didn't you fucking come back sooner?
Yeah, and also, funny, none of those fans chanted his name at the UFC where he worked.
That's a good point.
But can I tell you why CM Punk reminds me a lot of Kiss?
Sure.
Because, well, first of all, in the late 70s, early 80s, Kiss lost two of their original members, and they dropped the makeup and went in their, well, allegedly normal clothes. I wouldn't fucking dress like that. So then throughout the 80s, going into the 90s, their career started to veer off. They weren't as popular. In 96, Kiss came back with the original lineup and the makeup look back. The people went nuts. It was Kiss Mania. Much like CM Punk, it was the loudest crowds you could imagine for 3 months. And then people quickly realized, oh, it's just the same thing that made me kind of get bored of them back then. And Kiss, not that Kiss are nobodies, but they're nowhere near what they used to be. And CM Punk, within fucking 3 or 2 days, lost viewers for AEW because it was like, because people don't care about this shit. Hang on, the wasp just came in.
At least you're wearing pants.
Dead.
Nice. Good job.
That was one of, I think that Tony Khan hired Hornets to invade any critics. But, this is the problem with, but I've also got to say about what CM Punk fans are. And again, I'm saying this as a guy in a Star Wars t-shirt, as a guy who's fucking obsessed with superheroes.
And doesn't comb his hair.
And combs are for the weak. CM Punk is for nerds who don't know that they're nerds. They think they're cool, but they're just a whole other level of nerd. Like these Chicago people going, did you hear the rumor that he may turn up? It's like, but it's been confirmed for weeks by all the dirt sheets. They've been speaking about it for weeks. Like, he's coming.
What really gets my go?
You keep talking. I gotta close this window here.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So talking. Not sure what to say. I don't ever like to talk. I'm not a big talker to begin with. This is awkward. So yeah, that's that. So so I don't know how you feel about that, Adam, but it is what it is.
I couldn't agree more with your point that you made. But it's the thing, because I listened, because Durban did a podcast about CM Punk 2 days ago or whatever with Joe. And Joe made a very good point in that he said that what it's happened is it's enough of fans being negative, and that they can't, and that it's time for them to stop taking it so seriously and just watch it and enjoy it and all that shit. And Joe is right. It is just it's a fun show that people should just turn off their brains and watch. But then the CM Punk defenders aren't doing that. Like, no, you have to like this. You have to think it's great.
Yeah.
And then you get, but this is the other thing. They always go, the WWE wasted CM Punk. He was nobody, and it's like you wouldn't know him if he wasn't in the WWE. And then let's look back at his career, shall we? He feuded with John Cena a lot and a lot of high-profile matches. They give him a title run that lasted more than a year. They put him on the cover of 2K13, I think it was. He got a hugely hyped DVD of a documentary with a ton of matches on it. Then he got he wrestled The Rock twice on pay-per-view, The Undertaker, Chris Jericho, and then Brock Lesnar back to back. And what do CM Punk fans go? He wasn't used properly.
Yeah, the biggest names in the company, which are much better workers than he are. Much better. God damn, your lack of knowledge of the English language is rubbing off on me now. Look, the reason why we're here is because we want to let everybody know that CM Punk is not a needle mover. I mean, if you really want to break it down statistically, because people really love cold hard facts. AEW has been over 1 million fans since July 14th. July 14th was when they finally got over the hump because, that's right, NXT wasn't on anymore. So they had 1,025,000 fans. The next week they did 1,148,000 and 1,018,000. Then 1.12. They dipped a little bit for the next couple of weeks, and then okay, CM Punk is here, and they did 1.1 million, which is what they were doing the previous 6 weeks. So if CM Punk was such a needle mover, don't you think there'd be maybe 1.5 million, close to 2 million possibly? If he's that big of a draw, he's literally doing the same number he did that they did 3 weeks earlier.
But the other thing I don't get is it because I heard this being mentioned on Keep It 100 by Conan Disco and Joe, where they says, the CM Punk fans will tune in, but it's like, hang on. Pro wrestlers don't have individual fan bases. It's wrestling, marks. You have your own personal favorites, but everybody, if you like wrestling, you're watching wrestling, full stop. CM Punk fans were already watching AEW, and as shown, there's not that many of them. I mean, from Rampage to Dynamite, they lost viewers. And I have to say, going back to the brand stuff, I remember it was a comment Joe said about how that pipe bomb promo thing got mainstream media coverage. And it's like, yes, it did. Joe's right that it was like on the mainstream news. So if AEW signed CM Punk in 2012, this would be huge. But it's 10 years after that, when wrestling's never been less popular. Even John Cena didn't, as you say, move the needle that much. Like, he sold tickets, but TV ratings wise, not much. CM Punk isn't even fucking approaching the level of John Cena's worldwide international fame. CM Punk's popular with a small, not a small, but with a large section of wrestling fans. There's no change going to happen. Daniel Bryan's not going to change the ratings for AEW. Bray Wyatt's not going to change the ratings because wrestling fans are already watching wrestling. It's like, look at fucking superhero films. You don't only go to see Ant-Man. You already have seen the Iron Man trilogy, the fucking Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy. You go see them all. It's not an individual fan base thing. It's a weird comment.
I agree. You can't deny the fact that the same people that are, that are tuning in for Punk are the same people that have always been there. He didn't get anybody else. There's nobody that just, said, CM Punk's here. I used to watch him 10 years ago in the WWE. I'm going to tune into this show I've never fucking heard of before. And let's see where he is. Yeah,
saying that CM Punk fans will tune into AEW. That's like, I said this on the brand. That's like saying, I can't believe that Metallica fans also like AC/DC. It's like they like it all. They're already there.
How dare you like somebody else? How dare you like another band? That's like somebody liking Guns N' Roses. Those fucking people are whacked.
Who? That's one of my hilarious jokes that I just came up with on the spot. But in all seriousness, even back in the day, were you ever a CM Punk fan?
I was. I enjoyed him. I thought he was kind of bland in ECW. But then, when he worked his way up, he did the Straight Edge Society. I thought that was cool. I thought that was a big thing. People were booing him because he's telling them not to do drugs. I mean, that's kind of what Daniel Bryan did years later when he was doing the whole Earth gimmick and all that. So I was a fan of Punk from then on. And then when he, started doing the best in the world thing, I dug it. I thought he was a good wrestler. I liked his pipe bomb promo. I love the fact that he took the belt and ran in Chicago and jumped the guardrail and blew Vince McMahon a kiss. And then 2 days later, he's taking pictures of the pelt of the. God damn it! You think I was drinking today? It's very early in the morning here. Nice. He took pictures of the belt in his fridge. Like, we didn't know if he really had a contract or not, if that was a work shoot. So it was a very well done angle. But then, as dirt sheets often do, they ruin it and say CM Punk extended his contract. We're like, oh fuck. Well, that makes sense now. And then from then on, it sucked. He wasn't a draw anymore.
I honestly was never really a fan of him. I have to admit. Though I will say that the match he had with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam was that 2012.
Sure,
that's one of my favorite matches ever. Like Punk really worked his arse off that night, and I just don't know what exactly is he going to do in AEW that could even possibly catch the public's attention more than wrestling The Rock. And remember, it wasn't like he was just wrestling washed up wrestler The Rock. This was fucking legend who just had a giant WrestleMania and was already a legitimate A-list film star. So The Rock was a fucking Tom. It'd be like Tom Cruise coming into fucking AEW to fight CM Punk. Like, it was huge, and CM Punk's like, they wasted me, and now he's wrestling Darby Allin. And Disco Inferno made a fantastic point.
That's Doctor. That never happened.
Hey, you can't make fun of me, asshole. Come on. But he said that it's weird. It's a weird look for the new guy to come into AEW as a babyface and to go, hey, Darby Allin, you much, much smaller babyface. You're my first match. I think it looks weird. They say, I'm coming in to fight the small guy.
But he's over, brother.
Fuck Darby Allin. What was your take on? There was a recent interview Roman Reigns did promoting SummerSlam, and he said that basically he said move the needle, the thing everyone's talking about with CM Punk, and there was quite an outrage. Here's my thing: is that Roman Reigns at the minute, while he's very good, is not a huge star himself, but the fact is, his show is the most watched wrestling show, I think, in the world, SmackDown.
Yep.
So while I don't think it's all specifically because of him, he definitely does have the right to say that. Plus, with his match with The Rock coming up, that's going to be the biggest thing ever. I will cancel plans. If I have you have to go to a funeral tomorrow, it's like, you fucking put that thing in the fridge. I'm watching The Rock. That's
right. And they'll probably set record buys. In fact, SummerSlam did a record as well this past event that apparently broke viewership records on Peacock or some shit like that, or the WWE Network. So it was a bigger watched pay-per-view than anything AEW will do. Yeah, SmackDown still gets 2 million viewers, and people want to say WWE sucks and nobody's watching anymore. It's not. I mean, you can say that for Raw because Raw is a fucking 3-hour dumpster fire, but people are watching SmackDown, and Roman Reigns does have a lot to do with that. He is the leader of that show, and if they're still getting 2 million viewers, AEW wishes they could get 2 million viewers. They can't even get it with the return of the fucking Chicago Savior.
Yeah, but that was one of the other things I've got to say. Do you think that reaction was because it was a hometown thing? Because this is something that Tony Khan did for Rampage a couple of weeks ago when Britt Baker headlined the first Rampage. Why would you do that? Shouldn't it be your world champion in a match? No, because Britt Baker happened to be from the city where Rampage is being held. It's like, right, that's okay for a house show. This is on TV.
Yeah.
The fucking people around the world don't give a shit that Britt Baker's from Las Vegas or wherever the fuck it was held. CM Punk being from Chicago only matters to people from Chicago. While that venue went mental and there was a grown adult crying, which we can never give up enough, there was a fucking, that was a hometown reaction. I'll tell you this, a couple of years ago I went to see U2 in Dublin, which is where U2 are from. And when they came on the stage, you'd have thought that my AIDS had just been cured. The place was like, I've seen U2 outside of Dublin, and they don't get that kind of reaction.
Right.
CM Punk was then on Dynamite, which was outside of Chicago. Place didn't go crazy. He got a hometown reaction from a fucked up city, which is full of violent criminals, full of retarded fucking politicians. Chicago's not normal. And I'm not, and when I seen that reaction, it's like, okay, get that reaction in fucking New York, get that reaction in Canada. You won't. And of course, and then here's the other thing I've got to say about CM Punk. When he came out, he literally sat down cross-legged in the ring, like the pipe bomb promo, and he's making all these references. And then the ice cream bar thing, and I thought, a fucking ice cream bar? What does that mean? And then somebody pointed out, oh yeah, he mentioned that in the pipe bomb. So it's like
10 years ago.
Yeah, in 10 years, nothing has changed. So whatever didn't draw you in 10 years ago, it's back, only with even louder, obnoxious fans. Like this is, and plus, let's give him credit. He has gotten himself back in shape, because there's a photograph of him doing that new TV show Heels, and he has, and while making that, he was out of shape. He had a bit of a gut. He had a bit of love handles. So he's clearly been hitting the gym, and he looks great. But it's 7 years. He's in his 40s. You can't diet or work out against aging. It just happens. He's not going to be what he was before. He worked really hard back in the day. All those injuries are going to come back twice as hard at him really fast, trying to keep up with the AEW flips.
And especially the fact, look, he's got a lot of bumps to take. He said he's not going to do the part-time thing. He's going to be doing it full-time. Dude, he's been on 3 times in the last week. Don't you think that's an overexposure?
It's 100% overexposure already, and the ratings and the YouTube numbers are showing it. But what I've also got to say is that that right there is a problem. Like, look what they did with Sting. Sting's been on every episode for, is it, a year or whatever? I don't know. And he does, like, nobody cares about Sting. People will say, oh, the WWE fucked him up. It's like, well, they didn't use him great, but what does Sting do? AEW has him as a manager, and sometimes he just stands there and does nothing.
He should be an attraction, just like Punk, just like Brock Lesnar is.
Exactly. And look at what the thing is. CM Punk has done the thing. He's going to become exactly what he complained about. He used to say, "Oh, Batista coming in and taking the top spots, and the Undertaker works once a year and he gets a top spot." This is exactly what's happened here. CM Punk has become exactly what he rebelled against.
He's going to be the main event. And I'm pretty sure Omega and Christian will not be the last match on the card. I'm sure it'll be Punk and Allen, because that's how they want to go off the air. So what does that say for your world title that you've been trying to build up on 2 different brands, for fuck's sake?
But that's the other thing, is that why wouldn't you go with CM Punk versus Omega immediately? Because a lot of people say, oh, but you got to build to it. It's like, why?
No, you don't.
you got to go big. Like, look at fucking, look at Captain America 1. Who was the villain in it? Red Skull. They're like, what the fuck? Then what are they going to do in the sequel? What are they going to do in the third? It's like, and it was amazing. And then Captain America 2 was great. Captain America 3 was one of the best ever. I think they've made a huge mistake with this Darby Allin thing. I've zero interest in it. Like, if it was Punk versus Kenny Omega, because it would make you watch, because you would think, well, wait a minute, are they actually going to have him come in and become the champion right away? Or are they going to have Punk lose to the champion and it's a shocking upset, if you call it, and it leads, then he says, well, I've got to now tune into Dynamite to see, is there a rematch? What's the story? I know Punk's going to beat Darby Allin, and I don't give a fuck because Darby Allin, well, I've never heard of him, but I mean, I've never watched him, but I don't like the look of him.
I mean, he's smaller than you. I mean, that fucking says a lot. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's smaller than CM Punk.
He is. He is considerably smaller than CM Punk.
There's a topic that Disco brings up a lot on Keeping 100 about CM Punk, where he says about his UFC run and how that has damaged his wrestling character. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's just wrestling?
I think it's just wrestling. While Disco, usually makes decent points, I will give him credit for that. I don't think it matters in this realm. Maybe to some people, maybe some of the smart marks or whatever you want to call them. But for the most part, it doesn't matter, dude. It really doesn't matter. UFC and wrestling are, people should be smart enough to know that it's not the same thing.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Except for that fucking guy.
Yeah, but see, my problem with that is just that his wrestling character was that he's the MMA guy.
True, yeah.
I
get it.
That would be like, oh, we've got the new Spider-Man coming out. So we'll get Tom Holland to go to a spider sanctuary, and he shits himself because he's afraid of spiders. It's like, well, there goes the film. You can't. It takes away the realism there, man.
That's a good point, and I didn't really think of that. And that's why you're much smarter than I am. That's why you're the host of this show, really.
Yay!
You make me thirsty, by the way. I love Guinness, although it's not the same over here as it is over there. It's
just on a quick side note, if I ever quit drinking, it's going to be from the beer shits and not the hangovers. They are torturous. I'm telling you right now that if Hitler, remember that guy?
Yeah, good guy.
That's what he. Yeah, he's a lovely smile. That's what he should have done with prisoners. Give them a shit ton of Guinness. Say, listen, either drink that or you get nothing. Like, fine, give us the Guinness. They'll drink it all. Then the morning after, they'll have the beer shit so badly. They'll be like, now where did you put the secret formula? They go, all right, I'll talk. It's over there. That's the great Guinness and Hitler. But as we were mentioned earlier, Durban did a podcast. Durban went to see AEW Live, Rampage. Some pretty good photographs. Like, he looked like he had a good time. I'm sure being there was good. Obviously, I'm way too cool to go to AEW. And look at me. I've got a Star Wars shirt on. Why would I go to that nerdy AEW shit? I'm cool. Yeah. But what Durban was saying on his podcast about how great it was and about how people are shitting on it for attention, it's like, no, but that's not true. People are shitting on it because it wasn't that good. I think the pop was great. The promo was fucking embarrassing. All that taking shots at WWE stuff would have been huge if AEW hadn't done that every single week for, 3 years they've been around, or 2 years?
Long enough. Yeah, you're right. They did this since day one when Cody threw the fucking sledgehammer at the fucking at the throne or whatever. Yeah, they've been doing it the entire time. That
was embarrassing. And so I do think that Durban's wrong to say, oh, the people are hating on it for attention. It's like, no, Durban, you may be wrong on this one. Like, it's like I love whiskey. Not everybody loves whiskey because it makes them sick. Like, does that mean I'm right and they're wrong? It's like, or do they all have individual thought? And he even said that a girl on Cinema, who do we know her age yet?
No, I think she's, if I had to guess, like maybe 23 or so.
That's a bit.
It's a little too old for you, I know.
Yeah, well, we'll hope she doesn't listen to this for another 2 years, because in 2 years. But he said that she was talking shit about the CM Punk debut for attention. But I completely don't agree. And you know what makes it even worse was she went on her show and said that she didn't like it. She got harassed so much to the point that she had to put up like kind of an apology video or an explanation video.
It was a tongue-in-cheek apology, but yeah, she was forced really to make that show because of the backlash that she got from it, which is pretty sad, dude. She's not even entitled to her own opinion. And she's not a real wrestling fan. I mean, she kind of is now, but she doesn't have the history of Punk from 10 years ago. All she sees is fucking dude in his 40s coming back and a bunch of fucking grown men crying. What is she supposed to think as a casual fan that doesn't know about anything that happened 10 years ago?
Exactly. And like the only way you can know about what Punk did 10 years ago is the WWE Network, Peacock, or the WWE YouTube. The people who are profiting from this is WWE.
Yeah.
Because and
watching it, yeah.
Yeah, and CM Punk, while he's definitely got way more charisma than a lot of those AEW guys, he does not stand out in AEW. He's another guy of the same size. The only difference that he has is that I think that t-shirt's pretty good, is that it's white. Everybody else has a black t-shirt. That's all AEW's got going for them, a white t-shirt.
And it sold more t-shirts in the history of pro wrestling tees. It broke records. More t-shirts than RTW or Hughezy or Durband or CCN. I mean, these juggernauts on pro wrestling tees.
Yeah, how many of them sold below XL?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I was saying on one of the things that's genius about that shirt is that it's white. So when all those marks are crying and their tears stain the shirt, they have to go back and buy another fucking shirt. Like it is kind of genius.
It really is. If you really want to break it down even further when it comes to the numbers, just throwing it out there. These are real facts. Raj Giri. Yeah, I know, but he was right on this one. He tweeted out, despite CM Punk making his AEW Dynamite debut this week, his quarter-hour ratings weren't the highest, according to WrestleNomics. The opening Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy quarter topped the night in total viewers and 18-49. Punk was number 3 in total viewers and 18-49. So, I mean, what are you going to do, dude? I mean, it is what it is. That's pretty sad.
And not only that, I seen the clip today of AEW they do a post-show thing, but then they'll put the clip of it up on YouTube. CM Punk was there with Christian, and he goes, I never thought I would get the chance to be this over enough to close the show. And then he said, if you like the show and all this, tweet about it, tell your friends. If you don't like it, shut the fuck up. It's like so basically what you're saying is, baby ears, is that nobody's allowed to tell you that they didn't love everything you do, you fucking weak little girl, you cunt, you fucking knob. This is why he couldn't handle it in WWE, because people were like, are you really going to fucking go out there wearing a hoodie? You're not going to hit the gym. You're going to sit here and cry that, I don't know, The Undertaker is being asked to go over WrestleMania. It's like, oh, why not me? And somebody else is CM Punk's an originator, is he? Where'd he get its clobbering time from? The Fantastic Four, not from fucking, he didn't come up with that himself, cunt.
We could go through and read all kinds of different tweets and Facebook, comments and all that. But I mean, it's out there. You guys can see it for yourself. We don't really have to go down that route because we are fans too. So I'm not going to pick on the cringe people. We just kind of want to bring it to everyone's attention that, look, it is wrestling. But is it really worth getting that excited about? Is it really worth crying over a grown man who's paid to do his job? A guy that came back for a lot of money. What people don't remember is the fact that, maybe 6 or 7, maybe 6 years ago, he said, I'm never coming back to professional wrestling again. Went on a complete tirade and said, I'm done. I'm done. There's nothing left for me to do in professional wrestling. I don't want to do it anymore. And then he comes back. I mean, he goes against his own words, and people say, well, he has the right to change his mind. That's fair. But when he goes on AEW and says, I was at a place that made me sick and I wasn't going to get better unless I left it. Well, what about WWE backstage? And you have all the idiots saying, oh, well, he was working for Fox. Okay, fuckbags. If he was working for Fox and he had no idea what he was getting into, like he just signed a fucking blind contract to fucking work for Fox. I'm like, I wonder what they're going to give me. Maybe it's the NFL. Maybe it's fucking that weird soccer shit. The other football. I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm excited to be working for Fox. No, I'm pretty sure they fucking told him, hey, we want to bring you in for this, behind the scenes fucking WWE show where you're allowed to say whatever you want. He comes out, does the full fucking entrance to 4 people in a fucking studio. Gets down on one knee, says it's fucking clobbering time, gets in the little fake fucking ring, get up there, and starts talking about WWE and says, I'm back. Come on, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Because he worked for Fox. He worked for Fox. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. And another thing, if Fox loved him so much, what did they do with him after backstage ended?
Yeah.
He did nothing because he's not a star. The ratings were fucking minimal. And I've got
sorry, he was there even he was there every 3 to 4 weeks. It's not like he was on every week.
Yeah, he was on less than when my podcast comes out. But I have to say as well, from working with Keeper 100, you get a lot of these info behind the scenes. There was a viral-ish clip, I wish it was more viral, of Conan was talking about how, I think this was way last year, the year before, about Tony Khan wanted to bring CM Punk in for AEW's debut or something like that. And but CM Punk won't ask for ridiculous money, and apparently it was something like $10 million a year. That's it was something really over the top. Tony Khan, in his infinite wisdom, said no. Then Billy Body reported that WWE frankly said, we do not want CM Punk back at all. We're not even going to negotiate. We don't want him. Okay? So CM Punk is now signed with AEW for $3 million a year. So he had to reduce his demands because I think he's running out of options. Now, am I going to bash him for taking $3 million? No, we'd all I would wrestle for $3 million. But I think that his problem is that it's his ego. That the way he was, you see it in his face, in his entrance, that this is a narcissist getting all that lovely ego juice that he's been craving for a long, long time.
Yes.
He needed that. And I think he's getting out of control. And it wouldn't even shock me if his ego got so big that he tried to go back into the UFC.
I don't know if he would do that. I don't know if he would do it. It's funny though that he's not getting quote Brock Lesnar money. We can all pretty much agree Brock gets somewhere around 10 million. I don't know if that's total contract for 3 years, whatever, or 2 years, but he's getting bigger money than Punk to make less appearances than Punk's going to do now. Punk's going to be there full time, traveling, doing the fucking flying all around, beat, hurt up. Going to be wrestling matches on a consistent basis. Well, Brock shows up once a fucking month and, just fucking F5 somebody. And that was a horrible impression.
But by the way, do you realize how much it must suck to be Brock Lesnar making $10 million a year, getting blowjobs off Sable? Fucking loser. But with CM Punk in AEW, I don't think that, while I think it's great for him to get that kind of money, I don't see what matches are there that's going to make that sort of income worthwhile. We've seen Punk versus Jericho a decade ago. We've seen Daniel Bryan versus Punk, which to be fair was great, but that was more than a decade ago. There's Omega versus Punk, but I'm not a Kenny Omega fan. Although I would have watched if that was the debut because it's like, what's the finish going to be? There's genuinely nothing there that makes me think I have to see this match. So they're not getting my euros.
They're really relying on CM Punk to be the draw. In their estimation, it shouldn't matter who you put him in the ring with. CM Punk is the draw. They want CM Punk is going to be bigger than the company. That's what they're looking for. That's what they did with Jericho. It's the whole reason why they signed Jericho and gave him the world title and fucked over Adam Page, who hasn't even sniffed a fucking title match since. Go figure that one out. But maybe because Adam Page isn't a fucking draw either. Even though the Marks fucking love him and the Marks say he should get a fucking title shot, maybe management doesn't feel the same way about him, but they want Punk to be the fucking guy. And I guarantee before the year's out, he may be AEW champion. Although I will say that he doesn't need the fucking belt. But I guarantee Tony won't be able to help himself. He'll give him the fucking title and he'll run with the CM Punk train.
Yeah, Punk getting the belt would be as stupid as when they had The Rock beat him for the belt. Because it's like, so what, The Rock's only a big deal now? Because he's champion? Like, it's ridiculous. But I just want to say, I fucking hate Adam Page. He's a snowflake cunt. He's blocked so many people on Twitter. What a wimp. I hope he gets... Well, actually, no, I don't hope he gets... I just wish he developed a fucking a set of balls. Like, what a... Like, he's officially banned from Dork Side of the Ring, Adam Page. There you go. How are you going to sleep tonight, Page? I know you're listening, Mark.
All right, we won't bring him up anymore. But yeah, Punk is suspected to be the draw. Now, what does that say for everybody else on the roster? What does that say for Daniel Bryan that's going to come in? What's it going to say for Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman should they come in? They're all going to take a back seat to fucking Punk.
But are they? Because everybody thought Jericho was going to be the draw. AEW seemed to think Matt Hardy was going to be the draw. Then Miro, then fucking Sting. They all come in, do the thing. It doesn't work out. Now Punk's the flavor of the month. It's already not working. The Chicago pay-per-view was already, I think it's sold out.
It's sold out-ish. I mean, there's some resellers that were selling tickets kind of cheap, but depends what you want to believe.
And it already heavily sold, let's put it like that. So CM Punk isn't selling this out. And I don't think that they're going to bring in anybody new to watch it with this Darby Allin thing. I then think that Tony Khan, once Daniel Bryan comes, I think he is going to be the guy, the next flavor of the month. I think that then it's going to be Bray Wyatt, which I'm telling you now, I don't even give a fuck, because Bray Wyatt, my metaphor for him is he's like the Resident Evil film series, where you see the trailer for Resident Evil 1 and you go, that looks really good. I've got to see Resident Evil 1. Then you see the film, it's awful, but it has this cliffhanger. And then you think, all right, well, I'll come back to the sequel. And then you see Resident Evil 2 and it's awful. And then it ends on a cliffhanger and you go, okay, I'll see Resident Evil 3. And they did this for 6 films, and that's what Bray Wyatt is. He's all hype, no delivery. And they can go, oh, he was wasted, he wasn't used well. It's like, he was multiple-time world champion. He never had good matches. And at the end of the marquee day, that really is the case, that Steve Austin and The Rock became so big because, A, their characters were great, but their matches were unmissable because they were always great matches. Yeah. Same with fucking what the fuck's his name? Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. They had these great matches all the time, so you're getting your money's worth. Why would you deliberately pay to watch something you know is going to be shit? That's Bray Wyatt's problem. Daniel Bryan I like, but I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. He was making a shitload of money in WWE on a much safer style for a guy who's got serious injuries. He's got bad neck. He's got a fucking concussion issues. AEW has people getting fucked up all the time. Look at Matt Hardy. His nose could get basically exploded. in a comedy match.
Yep. And I mean, obviously the thing with Sammy Guevara doing the fucking back bump off a fucking scaffold type thing into a table that he missed and went right back out there. I don't know how Matt Hardy even sticks around anymore. But yeah, I mean, Brian Danielson, easy for me to say. I'm sure his wife had to be against it, but he probably gave her the old, I'm a wrestler. I don't know how to do anything else. That's all I know what to do. I need to wrestle. I need to be a wrestler. I need to be an artist or whatever the fuck, buzzword they want to use now, that he wants the freedom to do whatever he wants without having to get checked for concussions every night and go through these protocols and all that shit for, probably a lot more money than what WWE was paying for him.
Yeah. And Daniel Bryan is, he's because everybody knows I'm a tough guy from the streets, and to prove that, I've watched every episode of Total Divas and Total Bellas. I love those shows. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
I do too.
He's a dick.
Yeah.
He's not a likable guy on that show. He's really condescending. He pretty much at times tells his wife what to wear. Like, are you really going to wear that? It's like, Daniel Bryan, look at your face. And now look at Brie Bella. Even after 2 kids, it's fucking ridiculous how good she looks. It's like, I hope she leaves you. And then you can
look at the whole time where he was out of the ring and how depressed he got. And like you said, he didn't know what else to do. All he knew to do was wrestling and went to all these different doctors and different treatments to try to get back in the ring. He couldn't just take the fact that he was done. And now he's going to go to AEW with a reckless fucking style. And who knows? He might just fucking die in the ring.
That's something that I do think is a shame, because the way they do all those super kicks nonstop, somebody's going to fuck that up and kick him in the head. Yeah. And I think he's doing it for all the wrong reasons. I'm wondering if he's regretting it because because with WWE at the minute, regardless of what you think of the content, they're doing great. And let's be fair, we're not I am a WWE mark, but we're not ridiculously over the top ones who are saying, "Oh, everything they do is perfect." I
stopped watching it, dude. I don't even watch it anymore from week to week. I'll watch the pay-per-views.
Yeah,
I don't watch Raw and SmackDown.
And to be fair, I thought that SummerSlam was majority bad.
It was, yeah. There's a few good matches, but yeah, there's a lot of stupid shit on that show.
But I wonder if Daniel Bryan sees the venues they're playing and the fact that they can tour the world and the people are actually watching. Like, ratings are slowly, gradually on the rise. Could he be thinking, what have I done? What the fuck have I done? And it's a shame. But then there was a screenshot that I sent you, Rob, of CM Punk was wearing a pair of shoes on his AW Dynamite fucking thing. I don't know the name of the shoe or what brand it is, but it just shows you the lunacy of CM Punk marks, where there's 2 letters in that name brand that says BW. And the fans, I think, that's clearly a reference to Daniel, to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, come on. But that's the other thing I'm going to say about, do you remember in the group chat, we have a Get My Go group chat, which, by the way, I'm not done with Get My Go. This is not replacing Get My Go. It's a spin-off of even that, where CM Punk did an interview promoting Heels, the TV show, and he's so fucking obnoxious where he says, oh, well, my performance has many Easter eggs in it. And I thought that was so pretentious. It's like, yeah, you're like Daniel Day-Lewis. You've taken over the acting world to the ability that you can do one thing with your mouth while doing this with your hand and this with your foot. And it's like, oh, look at all these Easter eggs. He's killing the world. And I brought that up, how fucking obnoxious that was. And Durban seemed to get annoyed at me saying that. And then he sent me a screenshot of what the term Easter egg means. It's like, I fucking know what it means. What I'm saying is that CM Punk is an obnoxious cunt. The fact that he could say something like that, it's like, well, I have many Easter eggs in my performance. It's like no, you don't. You went in there and you probably played some sort of 1980s goofy, wacky guy. That's what you did. And nobody's watching Heels anyway.
Yeah, it's funny what people get really upset about. Phil Brooks is a douchebag. If you watch Best in the World WWE documentary, he comes off as a very unlikable guy, a very strange guy. Like I said in my brand post, he's different. He's not. He doesn't like people. He fucking yelled at somebody at the airport for which I don't ever condone this, but somebody took his headset off of him and says, "Hey, punk, I've been trying to get your attention for 5 minutes now. Can I have an autograph?" And he got pissed off. I'm like, dude, all right, maybe that's a little bit too much by touching him or whatever. But the point is, like, he's always been standoffish when it comes to people. He doesn't like people. He's an introvert. He likes keeping to himself. He doesn't care about the fans, dude. Like the whole fucking speech he had on Rampage, he doesn't give a fuck about the fans.
Yeah,
it's clear as day, dude. But they fucking eat up anything he says.
But that all goes back to my opinion that CM Punk is for nerds who don't know that they're nerds. Like he's a fucking nerdy guy. He yells, "It's clobbering time" in his entrance. Like geeks like me, the N-word, the other nerd, we know what "it's clobbering time" means because it's sci-fi. Casual fans would be like, "What the fuck's he talking about?" And now that Marvel's rebooting Fantastic Four, CM Punk's going to look like the biggest cunt in its entrances because what's he going to do next? With great power comes great responsibility. It's just like enough. Like, don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. It's like, well, I just think that CM Punk's an arsehole. I think that punk music sucks. That's one of the reasons why I don't like him. He's like, yeah, I got this band, Rancid, to do my theme music. Rancid stinks. Punk music is crap. You're a reject. I would assume you were bullied at school. I would assume you peaked in what you felt was in your 20s in the Ring of Honor. I think your ego couldn't handle the OVW WWE stuff because it wasn't a bunch of fruits. Because it wasn't a bunch of fruits and vegetables and carbs and stuff. Food.
Right.
So that's just what I meant to say. It wasn't a bunch of people who can identify as however they want, and I respect their choices. Telling them, "You're the man, Punk. You're so cool. Chicago's proud of you." Oh, Chicago's the fucking city. The corrupt politicians let you see fucking Smollett, whatever you call him, that cunt face, get away with the fake claim of a hate crime just because they're liberals. And while I'm on the liberal rant and I'm just finishing up the second Guinness, I think the liberals are delighted with what happened with Joe Biden. I think that they're so fucked up that they put him in the office knowing that he was going to fuck up so badly so that they could have Kamala Harris as his VP come in and take his place once Biden is impeached. I think that liberals are so fucking insane that all they cared about was having a black woman in the White House. I don't think that I don't think there's a problem with the black woman being president at all. I think that they're so fucked up that they don't care what Biden did. They're just glad that he's in the shit. It's ridiculous. I think, and back to Chicago, they're famous for a shitty pizza. I don't even like that deep. Why the fuck would I want a deep dish pizza? If I want to eat the deep dish, I'll eat fucking bread.
Yeah, with meat on it, with the fork.
Yeah, fucking pieces of shit. But anyway, I don't like CM Punk.
Yeah, I don't think you made that clear enough. Getting back to the Darby Allin thing as we wrap it up here, because we agree we only want to go an hour. So Darby Allin was, if I'm not mistaken, CM Punk's choice. By all accounts, he has creative control. He even pretty much alluded to that on his promo this week or last week, whenever you listened to this on Dynamite, his first appearance on Dynamite, that if he was a fan, a 15-year-old fan now, he would gravitate towards Darby Allin because he reminds me a lot of myself. Well, you're a small guy with limited athletic ability. And no, Darby Allin's actually way more of an athlete than CM Punk is. But, you know, I'm pretty sure they asked him, who do you want to face? And he said, I want to put that young kid over Darby Allin because he's a punk like me and he's a fucking skateboarder and he's an extreme guy and blah, 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 blah. So you want to know why CM Punk is facing Darby Allin? It's because CM Punk wants to face Darby Allin. It has nothing to do with Tony Khan or what their plans are. Who knows what's going to happen after this? And look, if he wants to put Allin on the map, that's fine. But look, is it really going to make a difference? Is Darby Allin going to become this huge main event star, this fucking world beater, because 1.1 to 1.5 million people are going to see him get almost all the way there to the top, and then CM Punk just fucking goes over anyway?
Yeah,
dude, I understand getting the rub from Punk and being a fighting guy, and he almost beat him, kind of like Rocky and Apollo. I just don't see Darby Allin becoming a huge major star because he almost beat CM Punk.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. It's a bad first idea. And the rumor, well, not the rumor, what I keep seeing in the Keeping 100 comments, because we're fucking invaded by AEW marks and Meltzer listeners, apparently there's some sort of plan for Punk versus Sting. And it's like, that's okay in a video game.
Yeah.
But in 2021 on live action, no.
The only match I would want to see, honestly, is Malachi Black, former Aleister Black, against Punk. To me, that would be a hell of a match because they have similar styles with the weird karate shit, and they're both kind of captivating characters with amazing entrances. To me, as a fan, that's a big money match.
That actually, that actually would be really good. And I even forgot he was in AEW. But then he's got a job to Cody first. But if we're ending soon, I've got to end on a positive. The one benefit that I see genuinely of Punk coming into AEW, and I'm not joking when I say this, is that I think that the AEW video game roster is going to be it's going to catch a lot of eyes, because Joe Smith may not know who fucking Darby Allin is, but if they see CM Punk and Chris Jericho and Sting and all these ex-star or whatever you call them on the cover, that's who you're going to pick, and you're going to go, right, I'm going to buy that game and I'm going to play them and all this stuff. To me, that's the sole benefit of all these ex-WWE people. All this is, it's like if fucking HBO started up a new channel and they said, right, we're going to show Friends and Seinfeld and Cheers and Frasier repeats in 3D. It's like, well, okay, it's maybe a new package, but it's the same thing. We've seen it before. And CM Punk hasn't changed at all. I find him quite dull towards the end of his WWE run.
Yep.
And I see no changes coming now.
And now he's older, and we'll have to see if he can still go in the ring. Like he said in his promo, I want to prove not only to you guys, but to myself if I'm still the best in the world, because I still think he has doubts. And I know he's been wrestling for fucking 20 years, and he said this like riding a bike and blah, blah, blah. But dude, being in shape is not the same as being in ring shape. And if he gets blown up in the first 3 fucking minutes and Darby has to carry that match, who's still fucking green as goose shit, it's going to be a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah, and exactly. Isn't CM Punk the guy who complained about The Rock being out of shape for their matches because The Rock hadn't wrestled in 7 years, which is what Punk hasn't done. And The Rock came back and Punk had to do all the work. The Rock was literally at some points lying on the floor, gasping like loudly, like. I think that if it works out, great, because I work with Keeping 100, and the better pro wrestling does, the better that channel does. I just think that CM Punk fans are the biggest dicks going. It's embarrassing. They're so unaware of what's happening. Fuck them all.
They're unaware of reality, and they just have this. They put Punk on a fucking pedestal and think he is the fucking Chicago savior. That he's going to come to save the fucking AEW. Well, what was wrong with AEW to begin with? Oh, that's right, everything. They couldn't book their way out of a fucking wet dream. So, it is what it is. We're going to see what happens here coming up at All Out, which doesn't matter when you're listening to this because no one's ever going to listen to this anyway. But if Punk has a good match, that's fucking great. If he goes on to do other great matches this year, that's fine. But in the end, when Punk is gone and he's done and all his money is collected, do you think AEW is going to be better for it?
Nope.
Then what the fuck is the point?
Yeah, but that's the thing. I had this. This is a quick, cheap plug. I interviewed Billy Body the other night.
Oh, good for you.
And we were talking about the rumor that Batista has signed a deal with AEW.
That's what JoJo said too.
Yeah, and the thing is, because he's not under contract at WWE, he's leaving Marvel. So all Batista's big money acting deals, that's it, done. And just because he's rich now does not mean that money's going to last forever. Tony Khan's a billionaire. I think that Batista could, as they say, move the needle, but for how long? Like, how do they then follow it up? And he's 52
years old, dude. Like, how much can he really wrestle? Is he gonna be there every single fucking week? Of course not.
Yeah, I just think that with AEW, I think it's a great idea that was needed for pro wrestling, with absolutely the worst people making the calls. The money rumors I've heard, like I'm sure you've heard the rumor that Jericho's getting something like $8 million a year.
Yeah,
and he's clearly not worth that money. And if he extends that contract, which is likely, he'd probably be getting $10 million a year. Like, but why would you spend it like that? Like, good for him, because I love Chris Jericho. But fuck me, that like he's not worth $10 million.
No, I know, dude. It's look, in the end, is it going to give them a little bit of a boost? Yeah. Is it going to be able to make them compete with WWE? Fuck no, because in the end, like you said, it doesn't matter who's on the roster. They can't fucking produce good TV. There's all kinds of production snafus. Their booking is fucking garbage. Their placement of matches on the card is fucking garbage. They don't have any really decent long-term angles except for the Omega stuff. The whole Impact deal was a fucking... What has Impact done for AEW, or what has AEW done for Impact? Nobody's fucking watching either. So, I mean, who's supposed to benefit from this? AEW or Impact or both? Neither are benefiting from this.
You know what they need there, man? They need a reality check, because they're wrestling with reality there, man. They're man.
That's for you, Chris Karam. Hughezy, where can we find you on social media? And I know you don't want new followers, but I mean, just in case people want to read your tweets, I don't think you protect them like some other jackass. So where can they find you? Plug all your shows, plug yourself, plug somebody else, whatever you want to do.
Plug the lights in. That's the funniest part of the show, I think. You can find me at the Hughezy. That's HUGHEZY on Twitter and Instagram. Particularly Instagram, because I've like 500 followers. I want more. It's easier to get guests through Instagram. So if you follow me on Twitter, go over to Instagram, follow me there. My podcast is called It's Hughezy Hello, which you can find on all services. Great, most recent episode with Billy Body coming out. Very controversial topics discussed. We spoke about the Don Callis sexual assault allegations. Don't know if you heard about that one. Batista coming to AEW. The AEW locker room reaction to CM Punk. Find me Hughezy Entertainment on YouTube, where you find all the video highlights from all the nearly 220 episodes I've got of the podcast. And if you're a pro wrestling fan, you want to hear the experts talk about it, we'll go find Keeping It 100 official on YouTube. That's Conan Disco Inferno's YouTube channel, which is growing rapidly. every day. It's going great. It's quite controversial. They yell at each other. But it's legitimate experts talking about wrestling with insight and stories that you will never hear anywhere else, even from Jim Cornette, because he was a manager, not a wrestler.
Yeah, much more entertaining than this show. We're just a couple of fucking marks that like or dislike to watch wrestling. Keep It 100 is a fantastic show, which I've been the MC for maybe 5 or 6 times. Well, more than Dean. But it's good to have you here. I don't know if we're gonna do another episode ever again. But if we do, keep your eyes and ears peeled. I may put this up on YouTube. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of editing goes involved. I'm not nearly the great editor that Durband is. So I don't know if I'm going to put this up, but this will be out in audio form on every podcast outlet that you can think of, including that one in India that fucking, I don't even know how to wrap up this show. Guys, you know where to fucking find me, at Rad Rob Gaming, absolutely everywhere. I have a fuck ton of podcasts. I have RTW Main Event and RTW Rewind. Drops every Thursday and Sunday, anywhere podcasts are found. I have a bowling podcast, Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia. That drops every Friday, anywhere podcasts are found. Uncanceled with Drake Wirtz, who's such a great guy. He really is. People fucking love him too. Nobody ever says a bad thing to say about him at all. Drake Wirtz, former WWE NXT referee, who got fired for his conservative beliefs. We do a podcast that drops every Friday, ad-supported for free on all major podcast platforms, or you can check out the video version of the podcast early and ad-free every Tuesday at patreon.com/uncanceledpodcast. For our $5 tier, we will give you a phone call and thank you for joining up, as well as every other tier. Our $10 tier is the bonus content where Drake will talk about NXT. He will talk about his days with Triple H in the meetings. He'll tell you what was in his earpiece when he was refereeing in the ring. He's going to break down the walls and tell you everything that was going on that you can't get anywhere else. He is not going to get another run there. He doesn't care to get another run there. So that will be some very, very fun content to learn what he did behind the scenes in NXT and tell you the real story about what was going on there. We also will be doing watch-alongs of his death matches. So there's lots of good content there for the $10 tier, and the $15 tier gets all that, plus a monthly Q&A with Drake Wirtz, where you can get on and ask him any question you want, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. So patreon.com/uncanceledpodcast. And we appreciate listening and watching this show. And hopefully we'll be back for another one. But if not, well, at least you have this to enjoy for the rest of eternity. Adam, thanks.
And the dark side. Ha 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 ha.
Fuck you, punk.